Hi everyone, it's Elo. I hope that you're doing well. I had been asked to do another folding and clothes talking video, like one of my very old first videos, and I had really enjoyed doing that one. And the season is finally changing, and I just thought this is sort of the perfect time, especially now that I have better equipment than I did then, to do a similar one. So I have this lovely pile of clothes behind me that I've sifted out of my dresser and closet, and I'm just going to be laying them out on the table, discussing them and folding them to put them in this big plastic tub, which will go back into my closet. So I'm just going to change the camera angle to be a little bit more zoomed in on the clothes, since those are the main attraction here, and so that you can see my hands and any detailing that I might be discussing. So we'll switch to that now. Okay, so here we are. Let's get started. I guess we'll do the hardest one first. This pink shirt here is my absolute favorite summertime shirt. It is slightly pleated in the front, which allows for a nice sort of baggy sway that has some good motion. And if I'm ever feeling bloated or just uncomfortable or insecure about my stomach, this shirt is fantastic because it hides all of that very nicely. And also the sort of asymmetrical hemline does a great job of falling over shorts, and it just looks really nice. You know, certain shirts are difficult to wear with shorts or jeans because of the way that the shirt ends. It might not be very flattering, but this one never fails to look good no matter what shorts I'm wearing, so it's definitely an all-time favorite for me. And the top portion of this shirt is sort of a bib style, which has this nice sort of embroidery going on it, which I enjoy as well. I don't wear a whole lot of these more, I guess, tribal patterns, if you want to think of them that way, but the ones that I do have I really like. So this shirt is definitely going to be the hardest to pack away, just because I love it so much, but it's time. Okay. Next I have actually sort of a series of shirts all in the same style, which you might have seen these before if you've watched my Kohl's haul video from back when. I was buying these shirts because I had just gotten a job as a receptionist, and I thought that, especially with this nice little lace detailing, they would look good with a little cardigan over them. But I've actually grown to not like them as much as I was hoping. I didn't think of it, and I never do, even though I should, but it's difficult to conceal a bra strap when you have this lacy material. So on days when it would get hot at the office, I would have to leave my cardigan on and be uncomfortable just to maintain that level of professionalism. so they weren't very versatile in that sense. And then I was going to wear them outside of work for just an everyday kind of shirt, because I'm not as worried about a bra strap on my day-to-day life. I don't really care that much. But I realized that the back of these shirts ends in sort of an old coattail style, which hangs down over the back of most of the shorts that I have, and just really doesn't look that flattering exactly where it separates, which was a lot less noticeable in black pants. But as you'll see, most of my shorts are lighter colors, so it was really noticeable and not very attractive in my opinion. So I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with these shirts. If I was any good at sewing, I'd just probably hem and cut the back to an angle that I prefer, but since I'm not a seamstress of any sort, I will probably pull these out next year, see if I feel any differently about them, and if not, I will give them to a friend who might like them or donate them. So the first one was this sort of sailor blue stripe. And the one thing that I do really still like about them is that they're very, very soft. The material is incredibly comfortable. And I know I got them on sale, 3 for something or another, so I'm not too... I mean, I am disappointed, don't get me wrong. I hate wasting money in any form, but I did get some good use out of these for a while there, and hopefully I'll change my mind about them. Maybe I'll like them next year, who knows. That's one thing that sort of interests me about fashion, is how much it changes, and there have been times where I've seen old pictures of myself wearing something and I'll think, oh my gosh, what happened to that? You know, what did I do with that? And I'll search for it, and I've either lost it or donated, or I don't know. It just amazes me. Where do these things go? But they always, not always, but sometimes they come back into style or just back into personal favor. And I think that's why I have such a hard time getting rid of stuff sometimes. I'm a bit of a pack rat. I think, oh, but I might need this. And I've definitely been that way since I was a child. These shirts I have lined up together as well because they are the same shirt. I've probably mentioned this in another video, but I find that when you find something you like, it's good to buy it in multiple colors because you like it. And it's not always easy, for me at least, with my body type, to find things that I feel good about or feel like I look good in. So this was one of those situations. These shirts were really cheap, and you can kind of tell because they're not that well made, but they're very comfortable. And the reason why I really like them is because they have this very lacy cutout in the back, which extends from the neck all the way down to the base of the shirt. And fun fact about me, I have tattoos all on my back. So whenever I can find a shirt that will show those off without being too revealing, because I am a bit more conservative as a person, I will always try to make that purchase if it's a possibility for me. So this was one of those things for me, and these shirts are, again, really, really comfortable and soft. So I've enjoyed wearing them around the house as well. You know, you pay all that money for your tattoos, and it just seems like a shame to never show them off. I think tattoos are, or can be, really beautiful, and I just like the idea that people can express themselves in that way. I definitely like to take advantage when I can actually have them on display a little bit. It's a personal thing. This next shirt is another one that I'm always unsure about whether or not I want to keep it. It's sort of in this olive gray, dark olive gray color. And it has a very swoopy hemline, similar to the first shirt, my favorite shirt. It's from Target, and sometimes I find with Target clothes that the hem or the cut is not always perfectly symmetrical, especially with these cheaper shirts. And this is one of those shirts that hangs significantly lower on one side than the other. You can actually see the bottom part of the shirt when you lay it out like this, just here in this sort of crescent shape. So it's definitely an odd cut. It's not terribly noticeable when you have it on, but I know that it's there, so sometimes it just bothers me to think about. And then again, since you have these high straps, it's impossible to find a bra that would be covered. Even a crossback, like a Racerback bra, shows with this shirt. So it doesn't have the clean, sort of delicate look that I would want from this. I do like that it has this sort of netting at the top, which provides a little bit of texture and visual interest. But again, it's just sort of an odd mismatch for my style. Usually when I wear this color, I'm going for more of a gender neutral, almost like an army sort of look, because that's what it reminds me of. So I like to wear it with more of those styles that are more masculine. And I find this to be a very feminine cut in a masculine color, and for me that just doesn't sit right. So I never know how to really feel or how to dress this shirt, but I keep it in the hopes that one day I'll figure it out. We'll see. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Next we have this shirt, which I truly couldn't even tell you where I got it. It's a brand called Route 66, which I know it comes from one of those stores like Kohl's or something like that, but I got this shirt so long ago that I genuinely don't remember when and where I purchased it. And I actually had gotten another one of this same shirt in orange, but I've since worn that one out until it had holes in it. So the only thing I really liked about this shirt was the braided scoop neck. The sleeve kind of bothers me because it's a bit of a cap sleeve. I have very narrow shoulders, so the sleeve just sort of sits almost flapped open on my shoulder, which I don't like. And otherwise I like the cut of it, but this has become one of my lesser favorite shirts just because the cut sort of looks really childish on me, and I've just been trying to mature and modernize my closet as I've been getting closer to 30. And it's so weird even to say that, but the shirt just sort of makes me feel young and like I should have a lollipop in my mouth or something. So I don't feel very confident in it anymore. But as with all of the shirts that I keep begrudgingly, it's incredibly soft. And if I'm ever feeling self-conscious or if I gain weight, this shirt has a great cut to hide that. It's very ripply in the front, so you could have a really tight pair of jeans on and be giving yourself a massive muffin top and no one would know. Which, I'm not saying that I do that often or anything, but I'm all about comfort. You could do that, is what I'm saying. This next shirt, I think you guys are gonna realize the theme of my summer wardrobe. It's essentially 90% clothes that I don't really like, that I keep in the hopes that I'll like them at some point, and just so that my closet doesn't look so incredibly bare. Most of what's hanging in my closet right now are dresses that I can wear in summer or winter because I can stylize them with tights and cardigans for the colder months and t-shirts. That's really all that's in there right now because this is all the rest of it aside from my winter clothes, which are sitting on the bed at the moment and consist mainly of sweaters that I have acquired over the years. So my closet is kind of sad, but clothes are expensive and I'll work with what I have until I can actually afford to have the kind of closet that I want. What do you guys think about that? I always have conflicting feelings because I feel like you should dress and treat yourself in a positive way to uplift yourself, and that whole concept of, you know, dressing for the job you want, or just, I see other, you know, ASMR videos, especially the easiest example, I guess, is like Maria doing her makeup and getting ready to like maybe go out or something. And she's so gentle and she takes her time, and I compare that to my own daily routine where I'm sort of rushing myself and never buying the best products for myself, and always skimping in those areas. And I just wonder sometimes if there is a correlation between not skimping in those areas and, boosting your self-esteem and the way that you treat yourself, just being kind and more relaxed and giving yourself the very best treatment. I feel like perhaps that could snowball into the sort of greatness that we all sort of strive for. I don't know, something to think about. And I'm interested in what other people think. And, if you're someone like me, you might not have the funding to get all the things that you would want for yourself. And I know I put others before myself all the time. Not that I'm a martyr or anything, but it's rare that I buy myself new clothes or splurge on anything for personal reasons or personal gain. And I just wonder, if I did take that risk, would it pay off in some way in my life? So anyway, not to get all existential and whatnot, but this shirt is another one that I actually really love. It's super soft, as you could have guessed, and it has this cool triple striped pattern at the top and the back, which provides a nice little cutout to an area where I don't have tattoos, but I just like this look. And it has a little pocket on the front left breast, and also some small cuffs on the arms with these little golden buttons. I love the detailing in this shirt. The only problem I have is that this tag is incredibly itchy, and I'm really worried to cut it because it's sewn in to the lining of the shirt. And I've had experiences before where I've even carefully cut something like that off and it ends up unraveling the whole shirt. So I still wear this one, but often I'll have to only wear it for a couple hours at a time because of how itchy the tag is. Especially as an Aspie, I can't handle having uncomfortable clothing on my body. It really, really bothers me and makes me need to change right then in that moment, which isn't always possible. So now this shirt, even though it's black like most of my wardrobe, it reminds me a lot of the summer because this lovely lady on the pattern is a drag queen named Miss Richfield, who haunts the area that I frequent in the summers in Provincetown, Massachusetts. She is a top-rate performer there, and if you've been to P-Town, you probably know her or have seen her. And this was from one of her shows. It's again a very, very soft t-shirt, and she's in character spelling out each of the letters of the word love. And this shirt just really reminds me of the summer. because I get it, or I purchased it in my summer vacation spot, so it's not something that I would want to wear over the winter because it would probably just make me miss summer. Not that I really enjoy summer that much. I definitely prefer the chilly temperatures, and I'm not a huge fan of the intense heat where I live. But when it's been cold for a number of months, you can start having that longing for the summer again, and just any bit of sunshine on your face sounds romantic and wonderful. So that's sort of in order to avoid feeling depressed. This is my only piece of mint green clothing. It's a tank top from Kohl's that has a little cutout at the bottom. As you can see, it's an asymmetrical hem with a much longer back than front, which again has become a reason why I'm not a huge fan of this shirt. I think it was gifted to me, and I do like it to a point, but I work really hard for the shape that I'm in, and I don't really like having a huge swath of clothing covering my butt and legs because it's the summertime and I work hard all year to try to maintain a certain figure. It's not perfect, but I run a lot and it just seems really counterintuitive. I don't know, people might feel different about things, but as a very conservative person ordinarily, I think that anytime I can have that advantage of feeling good about myself and feeling like the work that I put in is making a difference and allowing me to wear shorts or a skirt or something that I wouldn't have worn years ago. I just want to take advantage of that while I'm young and while I can. Obviously, you're seeing my whole wardrobe here, so I don't really wear anything too scandalous, but I should probably say I was quite overweight for a large portion of my life. Like, let's see, probably from maybe 2004, 2005, all the way through to maybe 2011 or 12. And then I was somewhat healthy, or at least thinner, for a couple years. And then I put back on a little bit of the weight. And now I've finally taken all of it off in a much more healthy way. And even though I sometimes put on 5 pounds, which looks like 20 on someone as short as I am, and I get frustrated with myself about that, I still appreciate the fact that I've come really far, and I've been, let's see, like 60 pounds heavier than I am right now, which is a lot of weight on someone my size. So if that seems a little weird to want to, you know, look a certain way in my clothing, to some of you, you might think I sound weird because I'm so conservative. But for those of you who might be even more conservative than me, I just think that sometimes it's good to acknowledge your strengths and the things that you've done for yourself. And if you feel good in a pair of shorts that make your legs look nice, then you should wear them. You only have one opportunity, you know, to enjoy this life, and I think that it's just important to do that when you can, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. And that's a similar reason why I wear those shirts where my tattoos can be seen sometimes. It's a personal thing, like I said, just something to feel good. So this next shirt is actually one that I like, so yay for that. This is again from Kohl's, and it's just a plain neutral beige colored shirt, but on the sides it has these large lacy style cutouts, which come almost up to the armpit, so shows a little bit of skin without being too revealing for me personally. And the cut is also really flattering because in this area it's sort of draws the eye away with the direction. I'll show you here. So you can see the cloth part of the shirt is much narrower than the actual width of the shirt. So it sort of brings your eye into a slimmer view, and then the lace sits on the sides. So it's almost like a little optical illusion that creates an image of slenderness. And as you can guess, it's also a very soft shirt. This shirt is inside out. Here it is though. It's a Racerback shirt that has a pretty sheer, almost faux silk like wavy texture on the front in these colors of pink and salmon and navy blue and white, making a sort of chevron striped pattern. It also has two small decorative buttons at the top, and the back is even more plain. It's just a sheet of a nude, very, very sheer fabric. So this one you can sort of see the tattoos through, even though it's not technically see-through. And this is just a nice, light, breezy shirt for the summer. Again, it's pretty flowy, pretty concealing of any bloat or unwanted displays of skin. But it has a very playful feel to it, I think. It looks pretty good on, even though when it's on the hanger it looks kind of limp and sad. And I actually got that shirt for $2, I think, at maybe Dillard's or Macy's. One of those department stores was having a summer clearance sale a couple years ago, and I picked up that one. And I also had another one of the same style but different colors. It was gray and a light green, and I liked that one just as much, but over time in the wash it sort of became disfigured, so I had to get rid of it. It wasn't sitting right anymore, but it was only $2, so I got my money's worth for sure. This next shirt is a little shorter. It's another one of those sort of tribal prints, if you want to call it that. And similar to another shirt we saw, it has these bands of cloth across the upper back, just for some visual interest. When on, the shirt is a little short, as you might be able to tell, but I have a floor length blue skirt that I wear this with, and the waist of the skirt comes up rather high, so there's hardly any space between where the shirt stops and the skirt starts. And it's a cute outfit together. I like it anyway. Obviously, I'm not a style guru. I have a lot of ideas, and my Pinterest boards are full of things that I want, but I just don't have the means to make that happen right now, so this is what I got. This shirt is also from Target. If you're wondering why I have so much stuff from Target, it's not because I'm a, young white female. It's because my mom loves Target, and back when we were still talking and friendly, she used to go to Target and spend time finding clothes for her children to wear, even when we were too old for her to be picking things out. But I always accepted whatever she got me, unless I was sure I wasn't going to wear it. That would be wasteful, but a lot of the clothing that I have, especially for summer, is from my mom, just things that she found. So the amount of money that I've put into the things that you've seen so far is probably $20 maybe, and the rest of it was all gifted to me, so that's another reason why these things aren't perfectly the way I would like them. But like I said, they work. And this one has actually become something that I really like, that I wasn't expecting to. It's more of a tank top, but still in a racerback style. And it has this, even though it's all black and white, it has this very interesting pink stripe running the length of the spine, and also creating a little decorative V at the neck, which this brand is quite known for. If you watched my first folding video from back when, you might have noticed this same pattern on a couple of the sweaters that I have. And this is that same company, which is Massimo. So this tank top looks a little big, but when you have it on, it's actually quite form-fitting in the right ways. So it looks really nice. And you can wear it with almost any sort of bottoms. This shirt I've actually never worn out of the house, for the reason that you might guess, which is that it's a crop top. And it's got a very stretchy fabric in the back with a more corseted feeling towards the front. very much a tribal looking pattern again, and something that I feel really comfortable in around the house over the summer, especially because you really don't need to wear a bra with this shirt due to the material. At least I don't. And it also has an extensive row of little buttons, but they're not actually functional. They're just for decoration. So this is just sort of a comfy shirt for me for when it's really hot out and I'm just hanging around the house. But hopefully someday I'll have the courage to wear it out, maybe. Let's see, here we go. This is another one of those summertime shirts that really shows off all the tattoos because the entire back is just made out of lace. And the front is actually really, really sheer, so you could probably put a shirt under this, like a, what do they call those? A camisole underneath for a more conservative look. But this is made out of a very light and stretchy t-shirt material, which, if you know this material, you might know that it catches on all other fabrics and just sort of sticks where it lands. So I don't like wearing a lot of fabric in the first place because it irritates me, but on top of that, having this getting stuck to an undershirt would really drive me nuts. And I also don't think it's that flattering when you have an overshirt that's getting stuck to your undershirt and not letting the overshirt lay properly. So I just sort of take this for what it is and wear it like this, which is when I'm feeling a little more European, I guess. I feel like it's artsy more so than it is scandalous, in my opinion. And it also has this nice lace pocket on the front, which matches the lace on the back. I've never actually been to Europe, but I just feel like what I've learned of the culture is that they have more of, they're less sexualized, I feel like, and have an appreciation for the body and art and beautiful fashion, regardless of how or what it shows, in a mature way. And maybe that's not true everywhere, but I just think America has a different mentality, and as a younger country, we don't have as much of the exposure to sculptures, statues, works of art, things that normalize or minimize the human body in that way. So sometimes I can get myself into the mindset of thinking, okay, Elo, you're a Parisian woman, you know, just be yourself and don't worry about what other people think, and see it more as art than as something that's going to get me in trouble or have people make negative comments towards me. So I guess that's my only little loophole or confidence boost that I use when I want to wear something like that. Not to mention the fact that it gets really, really hot here in the summer, and it's incredibly nice to be able to wear something very breezy and flowy without being judged. So I didn't know that I was going to be defending my wardrobe so much, but I guess I feel really self-conscious about it. This is a dress, also by Massimo, so also from Target. It's a really cute little Racerback dress, and I love the cut of this. This is called, I think, a baby doll with this empire waist or whatever, and it's just really sweet when you have it on. It looks really, really cute. It's quite heavy, and it's only held up by these thin sort of stretchy loops of material. So I always get worried when I'm hanging it over the summer that it's gonna stretch out and not fit my little shoulders anymore, but so far so good, and I've had this dress for quite a few years now. I've worn it for a number of events, and sometimes I keep it in my closet for the winter and I'll wear stockings with it, but this winter I'm going to pack it up and try to force myself to wear some other things and get out of my comfort zone a bit. This is another one of my favorite summer dresses. It's quite simple. It has two large pockets at the bottom, which I love. And again, it's sort of that high-waisted look with a gray panel at the bottom and just a white panel at the top that almost looks like a t-shirt. It's very flattering on my body, and it says that it's from Old Navy, but I actually got it from a thrift store that we have, not here, but at a place that we go to sometimes for a family reunion with my boyfriend's side of the family. And the concept behind the store is that the store buys all of the luggage that people leave behind on flights and never pick up. I assume they get their products from somewhere other than that, but maybe not. And so the store is massive, and they have all kinds of stuff from skiing equipment, electronics, books, and clothing and shoes. So you never know what you're going to find there. But I'm glad to have found this dress because I think I paid $4 for it, and it's one of my favorites. And I always look forward to wearing it when the summertime comes rolling around. I've only actually had it for 2 summers now, so. This next dress, I shouldn't really call it a dress. This is very risque, even though it just looks like a big potato sack. It actually has a really high cut and falls really short. So this is something that I only wear around the house over the summer. It's a very sheer and stretchy material, very comfortable. Has a little bit of a, again, that tribal pattern, which I guess is popular for summer clothes. And this was a hand-me-down from the daughter of a woman who I used to work with. She had some clothes that she didn't want anymore, and her mom gave them to me. And this was one of the things in there, and even though I can't wear it out of the house, it's become a real comfort to have when I'm around the house and it's real hot outside. Actually, when I initially got that bag of clothing from them, I made an ASMR video, and I thought it was really, really good. I was going through the bag for the first time on camera and reacting to all the clothing and giving my opinion, and the audio turned out absolutely horrible, so I didn't end up being able to use it, which stinks. But if ever I'm given another donation like that, I'll definitely do it again with a better setup. This is one of my most colorful pieces of clothing, period. I think this was from Target too. Yep, it's Exhilaration brand, which is a Target brand. This dress is a very, very bright red, covered in bouquets of flowers. And I sort of feel like I'm on a safari when I wear it. It too has this banding in the upper back, like we saw on a couple other shirts, which gets that cutout look. And it has, again, that high waist right here with a seam running that actually cinches in quite tight, not far below the bust, like where your actual waist is, not your hips, but your true waist. And it fits on me very well. So this is one of my more favorited summer outfits, even though it's quite attention grabbing for me. I really like it, and I've had this since 2010, and I know that because this was the dress that I wore the day that I moved to Virginia, which was in 2011. So I really do love all the colors here on these flowers. They're just the dark purple surrounded by the lilac, and then they have a darker blue with some light blue spattering, some white sort of palm fronds, some green leaves. They're just very pretty, having these jewel tones and also pastels resting on top of this very, very vibrant, almost orange red. Quite contrary to that is this black dress, which has not much to it, but it does have a skirt that flares quite a bit. It's almost like an old skating dress that the girls would wear to roller skate. And in the back, it has quite a large keyhole cutout, which clasps together with just a single button. This is, again, from Target, and it has this high neck line with very open armholes. So I tend to find that you can't really wear a bra with it. And I'm sure that some of you might be thinking, what about strapless? But let me tell you, I've yet to find a strapless bra that I like, that stays in place and does its job. I think it's just a waste of time and money. So I just tend to go natural with this dress, and you really can't tell due to the very stretchy dark fabric. Doesn't bother me any. This dress is very, very comfortable, but it does sort of sit a little off-kilter sometimes. I believe that's just because it's so heavy, and having it hanging in the closet, I feel like for all these years has just messed with the angle of it a bit. Next, we have this dress which says, "Music is the love of my life." And it features a girl whose head is sort of leaned back and her hair is blowing upward. And even though, again, this looks like a potato sack, when you put it on, this bottom part is much thicker. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a very thick elastic, so it conforms around your midsection and butt pretty securely, giving it almost like a mini skirt shape at the bottom. And then the top is a bit more relaxed, and since I do have, like I said, very narrow shoulders, usually one sleeve will be hanging off and one will be on. And my mom actually made me really self-conscious about this one because she says it looks like a dressing gown, like to wear to bed. I used to feel really confident. I used to feel really confident in this dress, but I haven't been able to shake that feeling that maybe I look stupid in it, so I haven't worn it as much. But I really do like it, and it's, again, just so soft. That's been one of the main qualifiers for me for clothing thus far in my life, has just been comfort. That one I actually I bought it for myself either late middle school or early high school. Actually, it might have been right in the middle of high school. I want to say I got it from the store called No Style, like K-N-O-W, like knowledge of style. And I liked that store because everything there was really cheap, and sometimes really cute. But they ended up sort of changing their vibe, and a lot of their clothes were made for like size 00 people after a while, so it became not a great spot for me. But for a while they were catering more towards girls with thicker bottom halves, which is my shape, so I really, really loved their clothes for a while. And I don't know whether or not they're a chain, because the one that I know of is the only one I've ever seen. But they very well could be a chain, and I just don't know it. This dress, I was once told I look like an Easter egg in, so it went from being one of my favorite dresses to something I'm scared to wear, but I actually really, really love it personally. I don't even know what this pattern is supposed to be. It's not quite tribal, not quite tie-dye, not quite really anything. Apparently it looks like an Easter egg. I guess that's what I should take away from that comment. And the back has a top part in this dark navy that is cut out so you can see through a bit. And then it also has a keyhole in the center, which shows off an area where, again, I don't have tattoos in that very spot. You might be able to see the very top of one of my tattoos, but that's all. And this one is just a little baby doll dress, but without any waist to it. And I think it looks really cute. It's again a very stretchy and soft material, so it's very comfortable to just slip on and run out the door if you have to run an errand or something and you want to look somewhat acceptable, but not put too much effort into it. This is my go-to for that kind of thing, definitely. It's been quite worn, so it kind of has the texture of t-shirt sheets. I don't know if you or anyone you know has these sheets, but they're very particular. They're made out of what you'd imagine an old, well-worn t-shirt is made out of, but eventually they sort of pill a little bit and they get this slight rough texture where the fabric is starting to come apart. And that's exactly what this dress feels like. A girl who I used to have sleepovers with when I was growing up, she had those sheets. That's the only place I really remember that sensation from. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you might recognize this skirt that I posted a picture of me wearing the other day. This skirt was what I wore on my very first day of high school, which was in 2004. And I remember finding this skirt and falling in love with it immediately and just knowing that I had to have it. It was very much indicative of my personality, and I wore it with a hot pink t-shirt. It was a Bam Margera skateboarding t-shirt, and I wore it also with my Converse sneakers that were black with a hot pink trim. So it was really the perfect conjuncture for me of how I felt at the time. I had some femininity that I was starting to explore a little bit and allow myself to wear something pink. That was something I was getting into, but I also was more musical and a little bit darker, and I listened to a lot of metal and had this more edgy side, so this was also something that allowed me to express that, because it has these dark black petals and detailing that very well could have been green or any other color, but I liked the fact that it was black. And this skirt also has an asymmetrical hemline, and in the front here it has a sort of flap that sits directly over the thigh, and it doesn't come up too high. It's not going to reveal anything, and you can't see your underwear or anything, but it's still comes further up the thigh with this sort of feminine and graceful movement in the slit. So I've loved this skirt for as long as I've had it, and it just sort of means something to me, I guess, and reminds me of a very specific time in my life. So I've kept it and still worn it over the years. Finally, I have some shorts that I'm going to pack up. This first pair is Ravenclaw shorts, as is adorned on the butt. Truthfully, I'm definitely a Hufflepuff, and I don't feel ashamed of that, but I also don't really like wearing bright yellow shorts. I don't think that it looks very good on me, and I'm also a big fan of Ravenclaw House. I really like all of the mental puzzles and curiosities and riddles, and I think that the way that Ravenclaw is run and the sort of people that end up in Ravenclaw are very interesting. So why not show some love to a house that I respect, even if I'm not a part of it. And these are Quidditch shorts, so they have the number 7 and a little snitch stitched in black threading, and that same black threading is used on the back to create a crow over, or a raven, I guess, over the Ravenclaw logo. And I actually purchased these from Harry Potter World at Universal Studios in Florida. So they were pretty expensive. These are probably actually the most expensive item that I've paid for that we've seen, oddly enough. And they have a nice elastic waist, so they're very comfortable for wearing around the house over the summer. This is probably my favorite pair of shorts, and I got them from Macy's. They're by the brand Celebrity Pink, and I was worried a little bit about the color, but it turns out that this color goes with pretty much everything, thankfully. And I'm very picky about back pockets. I do not like the ones that are bedazzled, and I also don't prefer ones that are too long, because I think they make you look really narrow and sort of long in the butt, and I prefer a more rounded look. So these pockets, they're not perfect. They could be a little squatter in my opinion, but when they're on, they do look squatter than this, so they're really cute. And if you're like me and you have bigger thighs, more meat in that area, having this cuffed look at the bottom is a really good way to transition from the shorts to your leg without having an awkward sort of tight or restraining band of fabric right there on your thigh. These are a bit softer, and I think something about the ridge that's created with the fold just eases that transition to your thigh, and makes it look really nice, I think. Obviously all of this is just my opinion. You're welcome to agree or disagree. These shorts are a little too big for me now. I think my mom got these for me, or maybe I got them when I was with her. I'm not sure. I think they're also from Target. They're by the brand Jolt. And they sort of slide off me now a bit, so I've kept them as around the house type shorts, or if I have to go out, I'll just tie these strings nice and tight so they stay up. They're a size 7 and I'm a bit smaller than that now, so I do like, though, these are like ideal pockets for me. They're barely there, they just have predominantly this line at the top which shows where the pocket starts, but then they're almost invisible except for the stitching. And I think that's the most flattering, but I find that the easiest way to find this style of pocket is actually on men's khaki pants. I don't know why the fashion industry only wants boys to have that bubble butt look, but I think it would be nice if they would make more of those on girls' shorts instead of giving us all of those gemstones and odd swatches of fabric and stuff. That's just my personal preference, but I'm jealous of those boys' khaki pants. They always have the perfect butt pocket, which is essentially no pocket, but just the slit where it opens. And these have rather large front pockets as well, and a very comfortable, soft waist with just a large center button and a small zipper. I also think if you're worried about larger thighs, having these strings that dangle down, hang down, sort of distract from that, and I find I'm more comfortable when there's something like that. So I can always appreciate a short that has some sort of strings hanging down. I think that it's a good way to create a look that's not going to be drawing a lot of attention to the areas that you might not want to have a lot of attention on. I've never tried to express these thoughts out loud, so I apologize for them being maybe a little out of order or strange. If I've said anything that seems just wacky, I'm probably just doing a bad job of articulating myself. But I hope that you've enjoyed. This is my completed tub. And I hope that you've enjoyed packing these clothes up with me and learning a little bit more about my background and some of the things that I enjoy or want for myself in the future. And I definitely look forward to perhaps making a similar video to this again in the future. Maybe if I remember, I can do transition back to winter at the end of the season and show any newer sweaters that I had acquired last winter when I was working. So I really appreciate you joining me for this. I hope that you are having a great day or headed to a really lovely sleep. and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video.